Hello. Waterways have been used as natural highways from prehistoric times. In the Roman period, the River Till was linked to a tributary of the Trent to create Foss Dyke, an 11-mile navigable waterway between Lincoln and the River Trent at Torksey. The Romans are also believed responsible for Car Dyke, an artificial ditch for drainage and navigation that runs for more than 50 miles along the edge of the fens. A 1 3/4 mile canal to bypass weirs on the River Exe, later extended to Topsham to accommodate larger craft, opened in 1566 to restore the navigation from the sea to Exeter's City Quay. The Exeter Ship Canal had 3 pound locks of the type familiar today, the first pound locks in Britain. This late 1830s painting by John Smeaton in the Royal Albert Memorial Museum and Art Gallery in Exeter shows the newly built canal basin in the city. It was a demand from emerging industries for a commercially viable means of transporting goods to markets in the mid-18th century that fueled the construction of a canal network. A series of turnpike acts were slowly bringing improvements to roads, but carts and pack horses were unsuitable for carrying many products. Currents, shallows and occasional droughts and floods made inland river transport unpredictable. A more reliable and economic means of transporting goods was needed, and once their feasibility was proven, canals offered the solution. Sankey Brook Navigation, later renamed St Helens Canal, the first canal of the Industrial Revolution, opened in 1757 to carry coal from collieries at Haydock to the River Mersey. The project had been promoted as a scheme to make the Sankey Brook, an existing waterway, navigable to avoid putting off investors, but it was known from the start a separate canal was required for much of the route. It was followed by the Bridgewater Canal, completed in 1761 and credited as the first entirely man-made canal. A 10-mile link from the Duke of Bridgewater's colliery at Worsley to Manchester. As a result, the price of coal in Manchester halved. Ford Madox Brown's mural, one of a series with a satirical edge, commissioned for Manchester Town Hall, on which work began in 1879, shows the Duke of Bridgewater getting tipsy at the opening of the canal. He was a teetotaler. In 1776, an extension opened to Liverpool. The long, slender boats, capable of carrying a cargo of 30 tons and designed for going underground at Worsley, set the template for the narrow boats that became the standard model on the canal network. Engineer for the Bridgewater Canal was James Brindley, who had served an apprenticeship as a millwright. His approach to the task was to minimise earth moving and, as far as possible, avoid the need for embankments and tunnels by following the natural contours of the land. Even so, there were problems requiring ingenuity, including the construction of an aqueduct at Barton upon Irwell, since demolished, to carry the canal over the River Irwell. In 1762, with support from industrialists, including potter Josiah Wedgwood, in need of regular supplies of coal to fire his kilns and desperate for a less hazardous way of transporting pottery and china than packhorse train, and who acquired land for his new Etruria factory beside the proposed route, Brindley conducted a survey for what would become the Trent and Mersey Canal, at the time the most ambitious civil engineering task ever attempted in Britain. A 93-mile waterway from Preston Brook near Runcorn in the River Mersey in Cheshire to join the River Trent at Wilden Ferry, Shardlow in Derbyshire. Largely following the contours of the Trent Valley, it would still require 76 locks, 236 road bridges, 160 aqueducts and a 1 3/4 mile tunnel at Harecastle between Kidsgrove and Tunstall in Staffordshire, through which horse-drawn boats had to be propelled by men, lying on their backs, legging. An ingenious level crossing of the River Trent at Olrewis in Staffordshire supplied water and bypassed a large meander across a section of wide river valley. The Trent and Mersey Canal was envisaged as the first stage in linking the lower reaches of the Severn, Trent, Thames and Mersey, connecting the ports of Bristol, London, Liverpool and Hull. It opened fully in 1777, widening the market for goods produced and manufactured in the Midlands. The canal network developed rapidly. Substantial profits attracted investors. Britain became the first country in the world to acquire a national canal network. By 1850, there were around 4,000 miles of canal. Whole families lived on board their boats, tying up at canal-side public houses for refreshment and overnight stabling. On many of the humpback bridges crossing the Trent and Mersey Canal, grooves are visible, cut by wet ropes before horses were released at the last minute to rejoin the towpath beyond the obstruction. A wide variety of goods were carried on the network, including iron, beer, pottery, silk, cheese and grain, but the main cargo was coal. Among the other canal pioneers, civil engineer John Smeaton, a fringe member of the Lunar Society, whose impressive CV covers bridges, viaducts. This is part of Smeaton's viaduct carrying the Great North Road over the River Trent at Newark, mills, harbours and Eddystone Lighthouse. Worked on several waterways, including the Calder and Hebble Navigation, completed in 1770, which extended the Ayr and Calder Navigation in West Yorkshire from Wakefield to Sowerby Bridge. This is the canal at Helen, the pub is the Colliery's Arms, and the Forth and Clyde Canal, running 35 miles across central Scotland from the River Carron at Grangemouth to Glasgow. Work on the Forth and Clyde Canal began in 1768. The canal was largely completed by 1777 and opened fully in 1790. This is Lock 35 at Garscadden in Glasgow. Among the best known of Brindley's and Smeaton's successors are William Jessup, Thomas Telford and John Rennie. I shall consider their work next time. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.